everybody, and welcome back to the I Don't Know Running podcast, where we share our experiences that make running fun and sometimes not so fun. I'm Lewis, and I'm a self-admitted lazy ultra runner who has a Western States hangover.
Okay. I'm Mitch, and I was waiting for what you're going to come up with. If I had to rate that 1 to 10, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Hey, Mitch, did you say it? Did you say
I
it?
did.
Oh, okay.
I did. And I'm just a little jealous. I wish I could have gone on that trip for sure. So maybe that's just my anger coming through. But
I think it is. I say that. It'll actually play into what we're going to talk about, where we're at right now. We're both wearing amazing T-shirts today.
you know what though? T-Rex is a quality race, right?
It really is.
It really is, but always cheesy. And I love that part.
I've never done it, so I will give my impressions from a brand new runner to the T-Rex races, which is what is Old Farts?
Old Farts running puts it on.
Races, and they have quite a following of people.
Yeah.
Really. But I will give my impressions, and I will say right out of the gate, I am super happy with having done it.
Yeah, it's a great race. I've tried to tell everybody to do it.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. I've lied to like a few people. I told them it wasn't hard, but it's smooth trail.
Yeah, you say, and that's why I say I'm on a Western States hangover, because that plays into how I felt the race was and how hard it was. To me, those hills were nothing.
Right.
Now, granted, we live in West Michigan where it's fairly flat, but when you come from
mountains,
true mountains, and not just an 800 meter, 8 or a half a mile of climbing. No, 4 miles of climbing.
Yeah.
Well,
I've done races like that. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you hit these hills that are like a 1/10 of a mile of climbing.
I did one, if you remember, I did one that was 13.1 miles of climbing.
Pikes Peak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the same.
It's not the same. And so when
you put it into that context and you just got back.
I just got back. So not only did I have several days, we went to the escarpment twice. We went to the escarpment Wednesday, and then we did the race Friday. So Thursday, Friday. So we went to the escarpment Thursday and Friday. And then I did it Saturday also for the race.
3 times?
Yeah, and we'll get into that more.
Oh, man.
We'll get into that more. Well, I take that back. I took the gondola the one day. That's true. And then we did hike up to the escarpment the last mile.
Because the gondola only goes up part way. You still have to hike.
So you got to go another mile or so roughly up to the escarpment. And that is a climb. My butt, the glutes, like all the muscles there.
And welcome to the first part of the race.
Yes, 4 miles.
Yeah.
First 4 miles. And we will get into more of that. But all that to say, that led into how I felt coming back here. So not only all that climbing, but then elevation. You're at 6,000 to 8,000 feet. And then I come back and I do T-Rex, which is got some pretty steep hills.
I don't know. I didn't look at the gain. Laura always asked me about gain, and it's literally nothing.
Nothing. And it was easy. It was so easy to just run up those hills.
Yeah.
So easy.
For you.
Yeah, all perspective, right? Because you just came off. Now, granted, they're short. Some are fairly steep. But just having come off what I came off, it was fun. It was just fun.
Yeah, I love that race, and it does. There's always, you see a lot of the same people. And I didn't see a lot of the people I know that run it as much.
Oh.
I saw a lot of familiar faces, but friends that typically run it were not there, and we got to, so, I guess people had things to do, but
I want to check with Brian. He'll be on the next episode, but I want to ask him. It doesn't have to necessarily do with the episode, but he talked about, because he's run that race. We all talk about these streaks that we have, right? Like you've done Bayshore every year since you've been running marathons. Brian has done every year of, I don't remember what it was, some race where he's done it every single year, not because he wanted to, it's just how it worked out, right? And then it does become a streak. And
Groundhog. He's run every year at Groundhog too.
I think he's got something else too.
Oh, okay.
But he intentionally did not run. I think it was this one. The second year he ran it so that there wouldn't be this streak. But now, several years later, he's done it every other year. So he has this every other year streak going. And guess what? This was a year where he would normally be off. So he's got the every other year streak going still, I believe. I think that's what he said was it actually plays into his.
Well, he needed to suck it up. He ran a 100-miler last week, but he could have still.
I mean, that was days ago.
Yeah.
It was days ago.
Yeah, he's fine.
So T-Rex, man, I tell you, for being my first time there, the whole thing was a blast. Number one, the registration, show up with $25. That's cool. You can send in early, but there's no online registration.
You have to write a check if you send in early and print the form offline. And I don't even know what platform their website is on, but it's
ancient something.
Yeah. So he still has an AOL account, if that tells you anything.
Yeah. So it is very basic, and that is a 100% fine.
Oh man, it makes it even better.
It does.
If they changed it, it would take it away.
I loved it. From the registration side of things, showing up with $25, going up.
You could do the Wimpy run, and I love it. So when somebody signs up for the Wimpy, they announce it. Another one for the Wimpy, and they make a big deal out of it. So they kind of publicly shame you if you do less than a 10-miler.
Yeah. Which it was, what, a 6-miler?
No, not it was a 6K.
6K. Okay.
Yeah. It's just 2 loops around that first little part.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you show up, you just walk up with your registration. If you haven't done the pre-registration, which I don't know how many people do, it's fairly simple, but
nobody writes checks anymore.
True. Nobody has checkbooks anymore. But you walk up, you sign up, you give them your name and your age, sign a little waiver thing, and you're all signed up. Then he gives you just a sticker, a tag, which
it's a sticker though.
It is a sticker, and you just pin it to yourself. But I
see them all over the course. People lose them like crazy.
Well, I thought I'd be wise and not have mine get ripped off, and so I put it underneath my belt, my running belt, the little what do you call those? Like
Commerce?
No, like a fitted, like a
it holds like your phone and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it holds it all tight.
A running belt,
So I stuck it underneath that, and when I got to the finish, I went to take it off. It was completely soaked and like not even usable. So he says, "What's your name?" And you can still read it. So he took it off, but he had to put it on another one, and I thought I was doing the right thing and making sure it didn't get ripped off.
I put mine on my pack, so mine came right off.
Yeah,
mine was still good.
And still dry.
Yeah. And I've learned you don't put it to where you can touch it because it'll fall off.
Yep.
And I see them all over the trail. That's what's funny every year.
So that's how the race is, how you register, and that's your bib, so to speak, is that. And you run the race. It's
1.8 miles of between a little bit of tar and gravel.
Yeah.
So I looked at my watch at the turn, and then there was that hill at the beginning. And I said to you, it's a decent hill. You'll see people walking on that.
On the gravel road?
Yeah.
Still? Yeah.
Maybe not where you were running at. There's probably more people that were actually running at that point. But at my pace, you see a lot of people walking.
Yeah, I actually did see a couple of people start to walk there.
And I'd laugh. I said this before. I always kind of judge at the start line. You're thinking like, all right, who are these people? And then I watch somebody running really hard, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like you realize you get in there, and it's a different story. And I was surprised. I'm thinking bigger dude passes me, and I'm like, huh.
How long is he going to last?
Well, I was thinking to myself, like, damn it. Like, why can't I keep up with this guy? And he's not, like, he doesn't look like he's in shape. I mean, there's some rolls, and I'm like, And then he stops and fixes his shoe and he takes off and he passes me again up the damn hill. And I'm like, and then I get into the woods and then he passes me in the woods. I passed him again. And then he had to go scooting around me kind of, and I'm trying to take it easy. I'm not as good on the trails as like you are. Like you can bounce through there.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, like when you first get in there and you do a couple of those turns and it's kind of sloped. It's pitched.
Yeah.
And I'm a big person. I try to take it through there and that guy goes scooting through there. And then I don't know where it was. You have to go up that hill that they have a rope on.
Yeah.
I don't know if you need the rope or not.
Yeah.
And then through there, there's some climbs.
Yeah.
I passed him on those climbs and never saw him again.
Oh,
so I don't know if he
sprinted the first 3 miles. And
3 or 4 miles. And then if that's all he had, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think you got to set up for the day.
Yeah, for sure. Just like anything. I think that's one of those, it's a fun race. So anybody, a lot of people show up that aren't necessarily veterans of running and they probably haven't figured out how to pace themselves just yet.
And that's how you learn, right?
Yeah.
I always say that you have to, but there's very distinct sections in that race. You notice that too.
Sure.
Like it's very, like you get that first section and then you pass that hill and it's pretty runnable and there's a little bit of up, but not hard hills.
No.
Then the power line, and that's completely different. And then you get into what they call the jungle.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. I looked back at my Strava or Garmin data, and I was really happy that number one, if you're doing trail, especially a trail you don't know, turn off pace. Like trail, you can't, it's so hard to follow a pace in the trail. You just can't do it.
I know I looked at my watch at one point. I'm like, I'm pushing it pretty hard.
12, 13 minute mile. Yeah.
Like what the heck?
Yeah. So I just said, you know what? This is pointless. And I was at like mile 1 and I'm just going, I'm not following pace. So I just flipped it over to heart rate and just said, all right, where am I at right now? I feel comfortable. It was like 150 to 52 or something like that, the first mile. And I said, all right, I have basically 20 beats per minute to go to get to 170. And I want to land that 170 at a mile to go.
Yeah. Yep. I
just followed that and I just started creeping it every mile, my effort level and who I was behind and whether or not I could pass and things like that.
Yeah. Because the jungle, it's not hills.
Mm-mm.
It's just the obstacles.
Yeah.
And then
ducking down and getting around prickers and over logs and
a lot of prickers in there.
A lot of prickers. And that actually slowed me down a little bit. Well, I got behind 2 guys. I've got several on my legs now. I got behind 2 guys before the jungle. I've never ran it, so I didn't understand it. And they go, do you want to pass? And I looked at my watch to see what effort I was at, but we were slowing. And I said, no, I'm good, And then we start going through that jungle and I'm going, man, you guys you're being way too delicate.
That was me. That was me.
And we got to about 3/4 of the way through and I said, can I get around? And I just barreled through because we were going so slow and I'm going, I can hear people now catching us. And I'm like, I want to go. So
my problem, I'm not that limber. So there was a couple of those trees, and I'm tall. So trying to get in those trees, I put my hand on the ground and I got thorns in my hand. That hurts.
Yeah.
So I was like, and if I could just try to figure it out to where you could squat enough to get underneath them things, you could fly.
Yeah. There were a couple there that you just had to. They were at a level that everybody basically had to more or less stop and step under or over. Because there was, not only did you have the logs to go over, but you had a jungle of thorns and prickers and stuff around them that made it so where you literally, there was not much you could do.
Yeah.
So once I got around them though, I was pretty happy again, just steadily took it up. But that race was just a ton of fun. Like you've laid it out really well for the sections that there is. There are 2 hills that it's almost impossible to run.
Yeah,
You could. T-Rex, I suppose you could. You could hop up and down going up it.
Yeah, but it's not. I think you're going to burn more than it's worth.
Yeah.
I
And
think
it's
you're
so
better
short.
I think you're better off hiking it, and you're not. All you're going to do is get your heart rate up higher than what it needs to be, and you can hike it pretty fast.
Yeah.
And you can gain it back on the other side.
100%. The guy in front of me, he hopped up and down going up it, but he ran. But I about a quarter of the way up it, so I'm just going to hike. And he didn't go away from me.
Right.
So I just power hiked it up to the top. And by the top, if he was 6 foot in front of me at the bottom, he was 10 foot in front of me at the top. He gained 4 feet, so it was.
And then you caught him on the way down.
Well, yeah, that's the guy I just stayed behind because then right after that, you could take a left into the jungle. And the jungle's up a little bit.
You start in there and it's pretty clear when you first start going.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like you start hopping over a couple logs and you're like,
across that big log that says jungle on it.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh.
Yeah, I wish I would have jumped in front of him just prior to that. But it turned out it was fine. Like I was happy with the day. But yeah, and then even coming into the finish, just how things were, and then the after, race activities with the raffle and the speed, the speed raffle, where they're just calling off names, and you just go up to the table and you pick whatever's left.
You get
a ton for that $25.
Yeah, you get a ton. Like it is.
Like, I don't even know how he can afford.
He gives it all away. Like he doesn't, I don't think he makes any money off from it.
He can't.
There's no way.
I got a shirt for entry. He said, go grab a shirt. I got a towel for finishing because he said, go grab an awards, whatever item. And then the raffle stuff. I ended up getting an extra large pair of sweatpants.
They'll be great for
they're gonna be great for this winter. It's just for lounging or whatever. But I didn't care. And then
people must donate that stuff. Is all like the stuff for the raffle must be all donated. That's all I can figure. Because
it's got to be. Oh yeah, because he gave out those Team USA gloves.
Yeah,
at the finish.
Did you get an age group or not?
I don't know. He said get an award off the table.
Yeah, maybe you didn't, but I would have thought you would have.
I was second.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know what that was.
It was like a little medallion or something they were giving out. Maybe he didn't give you one. I think he forgets sometimes.
Oh, it wasn't the medal though that we got.
You got a medal?
Yeah.
I didn't get a medal, so that's what it was then.
The little Jurassic Park things.
Yeah, that was an age group.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I missed my age group by like 30 seconds.
Oh.
The guy just in front of me, and I was catching him in the field.
I looked at first place for 50 whatever and up, and I mean he beat me by like 9 minutes.
Next year.
He is fast. That's a minute a mile. Almost. He was quick. Like that was good.
Next year you got it.
No, I was.
You know what to do. But you know what's nice about that race though is it is on the what are you doing in the morning at 8 o'clock
on 4th
of July? Unless you're camping or out of out of town or something. But
it's not even an early start. It's not even like it's a 6 a.m. start where you got to like get out of bed at 4 and get there.
You get there.
Was it 8 o'clock start?
8 o'clock start.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. It's not super early. You kind of hang out. It's a bunch of people that are kind of dumb like you doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a trail run. So
Parking is easy.
Yeah. Everybody gets along. It's like.
Yeah. Yeah. For those listening that are in the area, I would highly recommend the race. Like if you have not done T-Rex 10 miler on 4th of July, put it on your calendar. It is an amazing event. It really is.
Well, the Mummy is coming up.
That's a marathon or a half. It's basically the same area, a little bit different trail.
The trail, it's a little bit different. I think they meet that starts down the hill. like where we were set up. It's set up in a little bit different area.
Okay.
And the start finish line is on the other side, like right by the river. So you cross
On the other side of the river?
On this side of the river, but the trail comes across.
Opposite of what we were, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So then you cross the river, through the river.
Oh.
So every loop you go through the river, and you probably go through the river 3 times per loop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The river's that low?
Yeah, you can wade across.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of, and it's I think it's in July or August.
And that one's tougher than this one?
Yeah.
It's a lot harder. Yeah. Well, as far as 4th of July races go, I would highly recommend it. Check it out. You're not going to find a lot on the website, so don't expect to go there and find a course description and all of that. I couldn't find anything.
It's one of my pet peeves of websites, but it's kind of funny at the same time. But
this one's okay because
it's the only one I give a pass to.
Yeah, you can find. They have a Facebook page as well. You can just follow. Yeah. Old Farts? Is that Old Farts?
Yeah.
So Old Farts.
And the results are only pictures of what he pastes on that board.
Yeah. Which, hey, you know what? Who cares? He's literally there grabbing tags and writing down names and times. And that works. And it really is a nice throwback to just grassroots, like very simple, nothing to it race.
Yeah, and at the finish line, they got snow cones, watermelon, and
they
chips.
Had snow cones?
Yeah, they did. Over by where he was.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I would have got one. I got a bag of chips.
Some watermelon.
I grabbed a banana. I didn't get watermelon, but I had a good banana. But anyway, yeah, there's not much to it, but there's, it's nice to just have a simple race. And that's what this is. You can, like I said, easily show up, easily register, find easy parking, have a fun run, fun event, bunch of prizes and stuff that just like the shirts and towel for a finishing award and it was just a lot of fun.
I did like that at the finish. West Michigan Trail Runners, like some people that are part of that community, did set up a tent and they were cooking breakfast. I like that idea. Like just donate some stuff for that or whatever. And
yeah, that was pretty cool too.
That was kind of a cool idea.
They're at this one most times, right?
I think so.
Probably at Mummy, I would guess as well.
It's kind of. I'm talking to Karen. The West Michigan Trail Runners is kind of It's a much younger crowd than what it was when I used to run with them all the time.
Yeah.
And they're doing things like this. The people that are part of that group are doing more stuff like this. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. I got to meet a couple of people I've not bumped into, and kind of cool to talk to them and see what they're doing coming up. Like Rob with the Everest, Midwest Everest, and talking to him about that a little bit. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, anyway, that was our weekend, or not even our weekend.
Yeah,
that was our week.
It's still Friday.
Yeah. That was our
4th of July
current event this week, which was a ton of fun and highly recommended. But yeah, we also want to talk about in this episode just a little bit of the last week and basically kind of like what I did leading into Western States. We are going to go over the race in detail, crewing, running with Brian, and all of that in the next episode. But this episode, specifically want to talk about kind of like Western States prior to going. Well, actually, while we were out there, we released the episode that talked about leading into Western States. Like, what does it take to get to the finish line? That kind of a thing, and how difficult it is. In this episode, we're going to talk about the week of. So like leading into.
We flew in on a Tuesday.
Basically
got in on Wednesday.
Basically, yeah. Due to a 7-hour delay in Denver by Southwest, we got in very late or early. I don't remember what it was anymore on Wednesday. So really late Tuesday or early Wednesday morning, because we left Michigan and went west, we got up at, I think I left the house I want to say I left the house at like, I don't know, let's call it 5 a.m., something like that on Tuesday. It was an early flight. It was like a 6, probably earlier than that. It was probably earlier than that because I think it was like a 6:20 flight or something like that.
6:20
a.m. No, wait. No. Sorry.
I thought you left in
it
the
was an afternoon. It was an afternoon flight. Yep. Which was nice because then you could just get your stuff around. But that it's not like I slept in until noon. You know, I got up at 6:30, something like that, drank some coffee, got the rest of my stuff around, headed to the airport, we flew out, got to Denver, delay after delay after delay, got into Reno at whatever, call it midnight. Well, that's 3 a.m. here. So pulling a 24-hour almost by the time we got to the Airbnb. And went to bed, and you're on Michigan time, so you couldn't even really sleep that long. You wake up, and it's 9 a.m. here. You're getting up at 6 a.m. there, but I couldn't sleep. It's 9 a.m. here. So we got up and just enjoyed the day out there, kind of getting our bearings of like the area that we were in and things like that. And I think we did some run around to the grocery store, stuff like that. I think we ran into Olympic Village and what is it? Palisades. It used to be Squaw. They have done a rebranding of that whole area.
It's not Squaw Valley anymore?
It's Palisades.
Really?
Yeah, it has to do with Native Indians, that terminology or something like that. Like whatever that was called was a derogatory or some kind of an offensive term to female specifically.
Oh, okay.
Indians. But I don't, it was briefly said and I was not able to catch it when they were talking about it because, and we'll get into that. The setup they had for doing the stage for some of the events was horrible, terrible. But we'll get into that.
Well, you stayed in Truckee this time, like you said.
Stayed in Truckee this time.
Is there that much in Truckee to do or not?
Yeah, there actually is a fair amount in Truckee itself. We stayed kind of across the river in Truckee, which was super nice. We actually did a really nice run on Thursday. Sean, Amy, and I, and James did part of it as well, up to Bald Mountain, I think it is called, which was kind of like behind us. And I was like, well, let me see if we can find any trails out here. And there was one that kind of led up to the top of this Bald Mountain. And so I said, well, I think we can figure this out. And so we laid out a route and we went and followed it and went up, and it was an 8-miler up and back, 4 miles there and 4 miles back. And so we did that Thursday morning, and it was a really nice route, really fun. And you're already starting to get a taste of like,
it's a good warm up, really.
Yes, it was, because it really wasn't that steep yet either. I mean, there were some steep sections, tons of switchbacks.
But what's the elevation at Truckee? Like,
it's around 6,000.
Okay, so
it's close.
You feel the elevation.
Yeah, I think we're 6,200 or something like that. It's really close to Palisades. So we did that on Thursday, and then Thursday kind of kicked off all the events. That was first thing Thursday. I don't remember exactly like everything that took place, but we went into Olympic Village there, which is where Olympic Village is in the Palisades like valley.
Yep.
It's part of that. And that's where the start of Western States is. That's where they have all the vendor tents and things like that leading up to the race. And so it was kind of nice. We went there Thursday, and it was almost like a ghost town. Nobody was really there yet. Friday is the big day.
And you're 30 minutes away in Truckee, you think?
I think we were like 20. It was only like 20. Not bad. It wasn't bad at all.
Okay.
Wasn't bad at all.
Not 5 minutes like we were in the past.
No, it is nice. Like we went by the houses that we stayed in the last 2 times. Man, that is really close and really nice, but really expensive now. It has went up in price since we went last. And so I would, if I could find a house where we stayed last time for the same price as Truckee, I would get it where we were. But if you can't, then I would go out to Truckee again, without a doubt. So we went in there Thursday. We kind of did. It was kind of nice. We kind of bounced around there Thursday.
Did you get any frozen yogurt though?
No, we did not. No frozen yogurt this time. Saved some money and did not get frozen yogurt. So I'm trying to think. We did take the gondola up on Thursday. So Thursday you go and you can kind of do this like, I don't know, just bounce around there. And then at 10 a.m., you can take the gondola up. They do this like thing up there. They talk about Western states and all of this. And it was pretty neat. You go up there though, and you can hike the remainder mile up to the escarpment and check it out. It was crazy windy, really windy. Fortunately, it was not that way on race day.
And it's a low snow year.
It was, I would say it was more of a normal. So the snow is gone. Might have been low, but the snow is gone, except for that one little piece again. Remember where we went the first year? There was that piece of snow that was there. I say piece, it's a giant piece. It's an area of snow. So that was still there, but pretty much everything else was gone. Yep. So we did that on Thursday, came back down. We kind of did some running around there around the village. They had some like speakers doing some talking about different things. And that was pretty much our Thursday. And then I think we headed back, and then Friday was the busy day.
So did you still run in the morning on Friday or not?
No, they did have a run.
Oh, that's right.
No, wait. No, I did. Yeah.
You did that
was the
fun run up to the
High Camp Challenge, Hoka High Camp Challenge, because everything is Hoka now. It was the Mountain Hardware when we did it in 15.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. Did anybody do it in 17?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys did it in 17?
Yeah, that's where Jason pushed me down a couple times.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. On your way back down?
Yeah.
So yeah, we did do that on Friday. Same people did it Friday. James, Amy, Sean, and I. We went up and did the High Camp Challenge. That was a lot of fun. Running up as hard as you could the first 3 miles. And man, that's where when I compare there to here, it's 3 miles of climbing. And it's not 3 miles of this gradual. There was a section that, and we started to put this together. I think Brian said the math equals a 15% incline, the entire way up. That's the average. There are parts that it was a 30% incline. And you go, holy smokes, man, that is. And if you don't think that's steep, you need to go find an incline like that and just see if you can run it. It's not very easily ran. And so anyway, yeah, we did that. It was a lot of fun. I actually ran back down, made it a nice 6 miler. And we kind of, again, bounced around, did our registration thing.
But Sean and Amy wimped out on the whole
Yeah,
down.
They took the gondola down. Sean, Amy, and James, they took the gondola down. On the way back down, though, this is kind of a cool thing. On the way back down, it's just a nice, fun, you just turn your feet over and you're going to fall down you don't have to put a lot of effort in.
Just to stay upright, though.
Well, yeah, you got to keep yourself upright, but you don't have to run hard, and you're running like 7-minute miles. And about a quarter of the way down, I didn't run into a guy. Just kind of our paces matched, and we just started chit-chatting. And it was really cool. This guy says, yeah, I ran it back in, I don't know, such and such. And I said, oh, that's cool. And he said, yeah, I almost missed registration. I was barely able to get registered within the last 10 minutes because we had a baby the day before. So that him and his wife had a baby on Thursday. He hopped on a plane, flew to truck or Reno or whatever, and then went and got registered within the last 10 minutes. Like he was in the race, right? But you got to be there for registration. You actually have to run through the registration process, right? Get your bib and all of that, pack a pickup kind of a thing. In the last 10 minutes. And then they didn't name their kid because he, I guess, hopped on a plane and left. And they ended up naming his kid Duncan for Duncan Canyon.
Okay.
Which was kind of a cool thing. And so just kind of a really neat talking to this guy about his experience with Western States. And I think that was actually his second time or something like that, running it. He was from San Diego or something like that. But it was really cool. Just like that kind of thing, meeting people and talking to them about their story and stuff like that. But yeah, that was our Friday, which is kind of that day where the nerves start to on everybody, the crew, the runners, because you're getting close to like race day now. You know, you're down to hours before the start. And so we were all ready to get that done. But here's what I did want to say. So I mentioned where this the race meeting was, or some of the events like that was stupid. And it was. And my feedback to Western States, if they were to send me a survey, or hopefully Brian gets a survey and says, and they ask him, like, what would you change? Where the race events happen, they had or fix the sound system or move it inside, because you're talking about one of the toughest endurance events in the U.S. / the world when it comes down to the course and the heat and the things like that, all the elements that play into this race. And the day before, let's have our race meeting of anywhere from, an hour to an hour and a half.
In the sun.
In the direct sunlight outside. And there's not seating for everybody. So everybody's standing out here in the direct sunlight. And then the speaker system was so bad, I was probably 3/4 of the way back, directly behind the speakers, or directly in front of the speakers. And I had a hard time. I really had to focus to hear what was going on. And I was very focused because I had bought tickets to get in during the raffle section of they were giving away entries for the next year. And and there was a person back to my left. They passed out. Somebody passed out off behind me to the left from heat / standing in the sun, or whatever, all the circumstances. They passed out. They went down. They literally stopped the event. The medical doctor for the race was talking, and he says, all right, blah, 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 have a great race. He walks off the stage. I don't remember who it was, came back up, Craig Thornley, comes back up and he starts talking, and all of a sudden people are like, medical, 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 and he hears it. And so he calls the doctor that was just speaking, and he's like, hey, can you run back there? And so he ran back, and they started taking care of this person that had passed out. And I'm just thinking, man, why would you, what I don't understand. I get there's a ton of details and logistics that go into putting this race together and things like that. But I would think, man, can't we just go inside and get out of the heat the day before the race, for the racers? I remember
we had it inside before too, when it was hot.
It was hot, but you don't have the direct sunlight. Because I was comparing the same thing. I went, yeah, it was hot in there, but you're out of the sun. That sun is draining. You know what I mean? So anyway, there was that. We got done with that though, and we basically buttoned things up and headed back and got around for the race. And we'll get into a lot of detail about crewing and things like that in the next episode. But there's a lot of stuff here on the table that we'll talk about. I don't know
what that is. Is that do you wear that like a loincloth?
No, it's your ice bandana.
Oh,
ice bandana.
Well, it could still be an ice bandana.
Both of these are awesome ice bandanas. I will say this, Hoka, really cool. One thing I wanted to talk about on the High Camp Challenge, the 3-mile race to the top. What was really cool was Hoka showed up with hundreds and hundreds of pair of Speed Goats, their brand new shoes. And you could take your shoes and say, all right, here you go. I need a size 11. They would give you a size 11 to try out on the High Camp Challenge. That's pretty cool. Like, I don't know a company that does that.
They did that. They did something like that. It wasn't Hoka. It was a different brand. I've never heard of them, but they did that for, in Missoula for the beer run. They had that.
Oh, really?
Tammy and I both did that too.
Oh, that's cool. You don't remember the brand though?
I don't remember the brand. It was something,
not a popular brand,
not
like a new one.
Brand.
Or
I've never heard of it before.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. I'll run at them.
Yeah. So, but it was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty neat. And then another little side note as well. So Hoka is obviously the sponsor of this race now, right? And there's this chip here that I have. It's Nike Trail Racing. We come out of Friday. They have all the tents. By the way, Ultimate Direction had huge sales going. Huge sales. All their packs were 50% off. And then if you bought a pack, what would normally cost you like, I don't know, 20, 30 bucks for those the soft flasks, they were throwing in 2 of those for free on every pack.
Nice.
So I picked up one and got a couple of those and tried it out. But anyway, we come out of doing all the stuff we did on Friday, walk out, and we're on our way back to back to the car. And they go, "Hey, you got a runner?" And we're like, "Yeah, he's right here." And he goes, "Well, send him over to the Nike tent. He gets free shoes." So Nike was giving away free trail shoes.
It's kind of a little dirty.
Yeah, to all the runners. Anybody that they caught that was a runner, they sent them over there and they got a free shoes. And they go, "And crew, go over there and get we got something special for you as well." And so they gave us this token, and this token we were supposed to go, or this poker chip, we were supposed to on Friday during the race when you were at Forest Hill, go find the Nike tent, display the poker chip, and they'll give you something for free. Well, they gave us that for free, the towel rag thing. But then you could also take the poker chip and go into the bar that was kind of behind them, and you got a free drink. Well, they had kind of taken over the bar, and we didn't end up going in because you're
a little busy at that time.
We were a little bit busy, and but it was pretty neat the way that they were.
A little dirty.
I don't think it was dirty. I think it's kind of neat. They're accepting what they had.
Yeah.
And they were going with it. Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Well, it's probably, you think about it, instead of sponsoring a race, it's probably cheaper to give away free shoes.
Yeah. 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 And all this stuff I got on the table is free. I did not take everything. Like you could have gotten more.
I wanted one of these.
Yeah. That was free from from Rabbit.
I like their stuff.
Yeah. And that's another ice bandana, but that was free. In Forest Hill now has become this kind of like vendor area. Brooks and all these tents were there. Goo, Ultra Runner sign up. The Ultra Runner sign up was giving away free non-alcoholic beer. This had this huge horse trough, I got a couple of, I don't remember what the brand was. I've looked them up.
But the beauty is you can, you drink that like a soda,
and you're still ready to go. It was really cool. So that was kind of the lead up to the race. And in the next episode, we'll talk about all the joys of the race. And there was a lot. It was an amazing time. I was all around just, it was awesome. So yeah, that was the last week. You missed out.
I did. And then I'll be out there. Just not doing the same thing.
Yeah, Lake Tahoe. You're heading out there soon.
Mm-hmm.
Do 200 or no, what is she doing?
100.
100.
Mm-hmm.
Just the 100.
Only 100.
Just the 100.
Only 100.
Because they do have a 200. Is that the same time?
No.
As a different race?
I think it's a different organization completely.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So this is not the Tahoe Rim 200. Because I think that's the Tahoe Rim 200.
I don't know. It's the Tahoe 100.
100, yeah.
I have to look at the notes on it and stuff, but it is on the Nevada side.
Yep.
Quite a bit of gain.
Yeah. Everything out there has that. It's amazing. It really is just an awesome area out there.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that's what we want to cover. We're going to dive into a ton of details on the next episode of the race itself. But yeah, be sure to check us out on YouTube, check us out on Facebook, check us out on all the listening platforms, and check us out on Patreon as well. You can join the team for free or sponsor the show in some way, shape, or form. But that's going to wrap up this week's episode of the I Don't Know Running podcast. Be sure to tune in next time as we share more about what we just don't know.
Until then, happy running.